Welcome to OCR News Weekly. This week, Tough Mudder makes changes to Toughest Mudder event rules. Marena Sports partners with Conquer the Gauntlet. The Urban Trials acquires BattleFrog Social channels. Spartan Races AGOGE 004 takes place in Pittsfield, Vermont. And we have your race results from around the globe. It's Thursday, February 16th, 2017. I'm Margaret Schlachter, and this is OCR News Weekly, brought to you by Mud Run Guide. We start this week with news from Tough Mudder. Tough Mudder was recently announced one of the top 10 live event companies by Fast Company in their yearly rankings. But the big news from Tough Mudder this past week was announced Tuesday afternoon when rule changes came for the upcoming Toughest Mudder events. Toughest Mudder is the newest addition to the Tough Mudder lineup. The 8-hour race begins at midnight and runs until 8 a.m., giving athletes a taste of what World's Toughest Mudder holds, the 24-hour obstacle race. The rule changes announced on Tuesday include changes to the prize structure for individual men and women. The team category has been removed from the 2017 events. Changes to the rules to the qualifier for the contender category at World's Toughest Mudder, and a new elite contender category. From the announcement, here are a few highlights. The contender qualification for World's Toughest Mudder has been updated. Racers must run 25 miles or more at a Toughest Mudder event to qualify for a contender spot in 2017 World's Toughest Mudder. They've removed the top 30 placement for the qualification measure. The perks remain the same, although the cash prizing has changed a little bit, and we'll get to that in a moment. The primary method for people to get into the contender category at World's Toughest Mudder is through racing a Toughest Mudder event. However, there will be an application process released in the upcoming weeks, which will be online, how and where to submit an application with past or relevant performance required to enter this category. The announcement also added a new category called the Elite Contender qualification for World's Toughest Mudder. To qualify for this, you must finish top 5 in a Toughest Mudder event to qualify for the elite category. The elite category will have a special elite bib at World's Toughest Mudder, and an additional prize bonus will be awarded as well for those running 50 miles plus. That's also another new addition. The prize categories are for men and women now. First place, $5,000. Second place, $2,000. Third place, $1,000. Fourth, $500. And fifth, $250. For the rest of the updates, head on over to Tough Mudder and you can read all the new rule changes, or go to Mud Run Guide, where our own Wesley Kerr wrote about the new rule changes and what they mean for competitors. World's Toughest Mudder is still open to anybody who wants to compete in it. You do not have to qualify, but you do have to qualify if you want to be in the competitor or the elite competitor categories. Additionally, Tough Mudder had one other special happen this week. The Tough Mudder CW series, Seed Series we talked about last week, ended with a 1-hour Tough Mudder special called The Challenge Within. The special aired Tuesday, February 14th on the CW network. The special took 5th place in the rankings behind the popular show NCIS, The Middle on ABC, The Wall on NBC, New Girl on Fox, and it was the top-rated cable show in the time slot according to the Nielsen ratings. Our second story today comes from Conquer the Gauntlet, who has officially partnered with Marena Sports. Marena Sports has officially partnered with both Conquer the Gauntlet race series and their pro team. The new partnership means that Marena Sport compression leggings, shorts, pants, and tops will be sold at both the Conquer the Gauntlet merchandise tent and Conquer the Gauntlet pro team tent. Marena Sports, for those that are unfamiliar with the name, is the new name of the company formerly known as Athletics 8. Additionally, podium athletes at Conquer the Gauntlet will receive free merchandise from Marena Sports at all 2017 events. Our next story comes from Spartan Race and the AGOGE 004. The 4th edition of Spartan Race's AGOGE took place over the weekend in Pittsfield, Vermont. The 60-hour endurance challenge had an extra challenge as a cold front blew through the area over the weekend with temperatures well below zero at times. The variable weather started with the bitter cold on Friday, then a major storm dropped 16 inches of snow, making the turnout smaller for the event, according to inside sources. The wind picked up during the day on Friday as participants went for a horseback trek and the rappelling segment of AGOGE 004. The average temperature during the event was between 5 and 15 degrees as participants trekked all around Vermont. Approximately 60 participants registered, 28 started the Extreme Endurance Challenge, and around 18 walked away with an AGOGE finisher medal and slice of the Spartan Race trifecta pie. Our next story comes from a race series not many had heard about until Wednesday afternoon, the Urban Trials. Facebook was ablaze with comments after obstacle race company The Urban Trials took over the old BattleFrog series Facebook and other social assets on Wednesday afternoon. BattleFrog ceased operating a few months ago and has been selling off all their assets since they announced the closure of the series. The Urban Trials, which held one event in 2015, acquired BattleFrog Social assets and rebranded their Facebook page on Wednesday. After the rebranding happened, the Urban Trials saw a flood of comments on this Facebook page and a fair amount of confusion. Urban Trials put out this statement. The Urban Trials series of obstacle races announces the acquisition of tangible and intangible assets from the recently closed BattleFrog series. According to Darren Hillhouse, CEO and founder of Urban Trials, he said, quote, "I'm pleased to announce that Urban Trials has acquired a significant amount of assets from the BattleFrog series, which ended its operations at the end of 2016. This acquisition allows us to expand our vision of staging an incredible mass participation, family-friendly obstacle fun run series, and we look forward to welcoming all the BattleFrog fans to the Urban Trials brand." The negotiations with BattleFrog management were conducted by Mr. Millhouse and Garrett Harriman, an Urban Trials board member and strategic advisor. Mr. Harriman said, quote, "The acquisition includes tangible assets such as state-of-the-art aluminum obstacles, as well as certain intangible assets such as BattleFrog Facebook community page. This gives us a great head start on establishing a national footprint in 2017. The Urban Trials is about a 5K obstacle course with about 15 obstacles, mental challenges, and fused with technology. And it will be powered with a smartphone app, which participants will have to look for codes, search for clues, test their memory, and solve puzzles, all while getting some healthy outdoor exercise, according to the website. This is not the first time that assets from one race organization were sold to another. Superhero Scramble sold off all their mailing lists and other items after they closed shop years ago. And most recently, Rebel Race, which closed their doors several years ago, had a Craigslist ad selling their assets as well. So this is not uncommon for one race company to buy a defunct race company's assets. However, this is the most visible transfer of assets between companies to date. Currently, Urban Trials is slated for 5 events in 2017 in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Our next story has us heading over to Europe. Obstacles.com and the Dutch Mudmen hosted the Dutch OCR Awards over the weekend. Dirk Scrumme and Gertjan van Woerden worked to bring together this event. Mudstickle, the UK-based OCR media site, was on hand for the awards ceremony and had this to say of the ceremony. There were 9 awards in total, and inspired by the Mudstickle Awards, in each category, the 3 top nominations were announced before the sponsor read out the winner. We had sponsored the Muddiest Event Award and got to hand out that prize. And coincidentally enough, it went to the guy from Strong Viking that I was sitting next to, according to Mudstickle. The winners of the night were Best Kids Race, Strong Viking Family Edition, Best Venue, Mudmasters Biddinghusen, Best Race Under 30 Euro, Hang On Run, Muddiest Event, Strong Viking Mud Edition, Best Theme Run, Breakout Run, Best Obstacles, Strong Viking, Best Newcomer, Tot de Nek in de Dirk, which means up to your neck in dirt. Best Training Facility was Family Fit Indoor Survival Staphoost, and Best Overall Obstacle Race was Strong Viking. You can find out more information about those awards that happened over the weekend at mudstickle.com. Now we head on to our race results and we look around the world this week. Warrior Dash kicked off their season over the weekend in Florida. Warrior Dash is known to many more as a fun run than it is a competitive race, but they do have a competitive heat at the beginning of each of their events, and the competitive heat is a qualifier for OCR World Championships and the US OCR Championships. The top results from the weekend were, in the male division, winning the race, Caleb Grunner. In second place, Abraham Ashton. And in third place, Christopher Harris. Moving over to the female side, in first place was Caroline Norton. Second place, Ashley Carpenter. And third place, Amy Hood. South Africa kicked off their racing season as well over the weekend with the Toyota Warrior Race taking place in Legends MX. The weekend featured a number of events and several divisions. Warrior Race is the premier race series in South Africa. The race is also a qualifier for OCR World Championships. The top results in the Black Ops Elite division on Sunday were, and Sunday is their big race day for the elite divisions, unlike many of the North American races. In the men's division, you had winning the race Claude Eckstein. Second was Helena Radibi, and in third place, Greg Averinos. On the female side, Trish Bralman won the race, Dominique D'Oliveira in second, and Sabrina Deolio in third. Now we move over to the United Arab Emirates. The Sandstorm Marmon took place outside of Dubai over the weekend. The race featured impressive obstacles and drew athletes from around the world to compete in the desert. Members of the OCR World Championships team were on site to evaluate the new OCR World Championship qualifier. Top finishers in the 10K course included Sergey Paralingin, who actually came in 5th at the OCR World Championships last year from Russia. Second place was Marco Antonio Becerra Castro, and in 4th place was Halvard Borsheim from Norway. Moving over to the women's race, Hagar El Betoti from Egypt won the race. Taya Faber from Croatia came in second, and Natalie Boosted from Australia came in third. We head deep into Asia for the last race that took place over the weekend. Viper Challenge was in Singapore. Viper Challenge is one of Asia's premier obstacle races, which has been in business since 2015. The most recent event took place on Sentosa Island in Singapore. While the race did not have an elite division, other events during their year do have elite divisions, and we'll be following those results as well. Looking at some of the North American races coming up this weekend, we have Green Beret Challenge, which is headed to Texas. This is actually the site of the US OCR Championships coming in September. Terrain Racing is kicking off their season in Florida. In Montreal, Polar Hero is hosting another event. Epic Series is kicking off in San Diego, and Ultimate Ninja Athlete qualifiers are taking place in Rhode Island, Nevada, and Florida. Additionally, there's about a half dozen races that are going on around the world, including races in the UK and beyond. And we will be updating you with those results next week's episode of OCR News Weekly. Those are your headlines this week from around the OCR world. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to the show today and never miss the top stories from around the world in obstacle course racing. This is Margaret Schlachter signing off for the week. OCR News Weekly is a production of Mud Run Guide, your source for all your obstacle racing, mud run, extreme endurance events, and ninja news from around the world. Have yourselves a great week. Thanks for listening.